And here we are, Goons and Gaggle. Welcome to yet another thrilling and terrifying episode of Madness and Mercy. We're so happy you're here. I, of course, am Kay, your keeper of arcane lore. They, them, if you please. Man. How's everybody's week been going, Goons? How you feeling?
Woo!
I'm fine.
It's been busy, but it's all, I learned a really important lesson this week. I'll tell you.
Tell us.
And I'll tell y'all, I'll give y'all out there in Chatland a little advice for free. A very valuable lesson I learned this week. And that is that happiness is a result of your approach to life rather than the things that happen to you. So, just keep that in mind.
I can agree with that. Was that from you reading the Tao?
Wow, all
Shout
right.
out to the Tao Te Ching.
Dropping wisdom right at the top of the stream tonight. All right, we're not waiting to get into it.
Okay, I saw someone say Trevor's coming through a little quiet.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh is right. Well, here, let me see if I can...
Dicky, for the people in the back, will you?
Can you bump me a little?
Yeah, I don't think I need to. It should be all right now. Maybe it was just like a...
How we doing out there?
Something or other. The levels look good on OBS, so I'm choosing to believe that. Hopefully we get some positive feedback that it continues along those lines. I can hear you fine. Lovely.
Sounds better now.
That's good now. Okay,
I have to remember to get all up close and sensual with the mic. That's my
Yeah, exactly. Make love to that microphone, Trevor. All right. Well, Goons, I did mention last week that we had some very exciting news about a certain games company out in Tacoma, Washington. And if you listened to the Strahd, did we put that? Was that in the latest episode of STRAHDCAST?
Okay, so
absolutely,
it is. Yeah.
Yes. So if you listened to the latest episode of the STRAHDCAST, or I think any episode starting when that one released, you would have heard that news, and that is that we are officially being sponsored by C4 Labs. C4 Labs, a fantastic gaming company out in Tacoma, Washington. They are giving all of you Gaggle a special discount code to use on their website for 15% off your order, and that discount code is GOON15. That's GOON15 for 15% off. So big shout out to C4 Labs. They're going to be sending us some stuff so we can try it out and show you. It hasn't arrived just yet, but that's on the Postal Service and not them. So very soon you'll get to hear those sweet clickety clacks from the Goons.
Yes.
While I'm plugging people, I should also mention that we are doing sound by Syrinscape for this episode of the stream and also all episodes of the stream previous to it. If you haven't heard of Syrinscape, they are not sponsoring us. I just like them. They're a really cool company program that you can download for free and either subscribe to them and or buy sound sets to use for your tabletop role-playing games / board games / background noise for doing laundry if you're into that sort of thing and want to sound like you're battling a beholder while you're folding your clothes.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I know, right? Really get yourself hyped up. So that's Syrinscape.
Way easier than doing the dishes. Is fighting.
Exactly.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. Really just put yourself into that mindset. So as you can probably see from the little overlay here that we do not have Dan tonight, unfortunately. Unfortunately, poor Daniel is off opening a Broadway show. He's off at an opening night for Skeleton Crew starring Felicia Rashad at the Manhattan Theater Club, where he has been the associate sound designer. So big hype in the chat for Dan. Our congratulations go out to him. On the Broadway. Now he feels a little... He feels a little too bad for having to miss this, which I think is just a testament to the game that I'm running. But he at one point said something to the effect of like, "Should I miss my opening night? I really want to be there." And I said, "No, you dummy! It's your opening night on Broadway. You should absolutely be there. I promise I won't kill you or your character when you are not here to defend yourself."
That was
and I intend to keep that promise. I am
Dan is your Ashley Johnson.
I am a keeper of my word. So also speaking of untimely death, ooh, wow, what a segue. Speaking of
What the hell?
Speaking of adult content, I should say, I failed to reiterate this last week, and I think the week before, but just as a general reminder, we are playing a horror game here. We do deal with some spooky and adult themes. Just so just want to make sure it is improvisational in nature, but just know that some potentially triggering things like untimely death, loss of sanity, and intimate partner violence are parts of this story. I can't say for sure whether any of them will rear their ugly heads tonight, but they might. So, as much as we love having you here, take care of yourselves first. If you need to step away for a little bit, do so. We love you. Drink some water. Come on back when you're ready.
Well said, Kay.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm just so taken aback by that compliment. That was so nice. So Goons, I want you to put your minds into a certain mindset for me. I want to paint you a picture. Imagine that we, the five of us, not our characters, and well, Dan can be there too, we're all on a let's say a ski weekend. We're going on a ski weekend, and we rent this beautiful Airbnb, and it's a nice secluded cabin. But then something really spooky happens. It turns out, surprise, we're in a horror movie. What is your horror movie archetype? What kind of character are you in the horror movie?
Man.
Ooh, that's good. Well, we all know who Campbell is. It's obvious.
I mean, I hate to brag,
She's the final girl.
But I am the final girl. I've been training for this my whole life.
That's when we get a secret snippet of your backstory that it turns out a parent was like a survivalist and raised you in the Australian outback.
Sure. Or I just grew up in the South. And
like we said, the Australian outback.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
You grew up in the South, a well-known post-apocalyptic wasteland, and learned to fend for yourself there.
Everything is done barefoot, and I'm well armed.
The bottoms of her feet are like shoe leather. She steps on a 3-inch nail and it bends. Anybody else? What you got?
I feel like I'm that guy who, you think is going to get the better of the murderer, then I turn around, I'm like, I did it, guys, and then I get stabbed in the back.
That's absolutely right. Yeah. Like you push him off the deck of the ski lodge, and you're like, I did it, and then a harpoon blows through your chest.
That's right
so right on. Poor Tyler, harpoon going through the chest.
Oh no!
I tried my
dead
best,
on. Wow, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. Well done.
That's hilarious.
Well done.
Trevor, Ned, any thoughts on your roles?
Go ahead, Trev.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't watch enough horror movies to contribute to this conversation. I'm the one slalom skiing with Mike Myers out in the deleted scenes.
Trevor, I think that
you think?
make it to the final two. And then I think you sacrifice yourself in the final moment. You fall, and the final girl looks back, and you're like,
Run.
go, and you make one final stand.
Yeah.
You make it to the final two,
with
but
that.
you
I
don't
accept.
survive the
Thank
movie.
you.
That's a good role. No one leaves the movie with bad feelings for that one.
Yep. I love
That's a popular character. Ned, how about you?
I think I'm either that one or dare I say, the murderer all along.
I
think I'm the
secret
secret
baddie.
I think in Scream,
You are
I'm
absolutely
definitely
the secret baddie.
You know what I mean? I think I'm the
You're
guy
Stu?
who's like, no, you guys go, I'll hold them off, and suddenly I disappear, and I come back, I kill somebody else.
Or you invite us. You invite us to your ski lodge. And you're like, guys, happy 10-year high school reunion. And then it's mastermind.
I love that. Yeah,
Murking people.
you're like Stu in Scream. It's Stu, right? That's the guy who then would go on to play Shaggy. Yeah, you
Yep.
did a very good Stu impression a moment ago. Whether that was consciously or not, you did a really good Stu impression. Well,
Was it this?
No, it was the way you said it. It was the sound of your voice. You really summoned a good mix of Secret Baddie and Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. See, there it is again. You have a gift.
I want to shout out Lemon Lesbian says, I know a lot of people who would be the is anyone there person.
So this is, I've thought in the past that I might be the person. Oh, whoops! I should let my dog out of the room because he's scratching at my door. Go ahead, Zuma. Get out of here.
Go on, old yell.
Do you guys want to get killed with me or get killed looking for me?
So I have often thought in the past that I would be the person who like disappears early on and you think maybe they've been like murked, but then they come back in like the final moment, in the climactic moment with like war paint on, and they've been like off surviving and getting ready to kill. Although these days, what with all of the like, you know, spooky stuff I've been getting myself into, I think I'm just the one who gets possessed right off the bat. Yeah.
That's fun too.
You like that?
I like that. Either way, we follow.
Okay. Ooh, so like maybe I'm
protagonist of the sequel. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so maybe at the very end of the first one, after we think we've like vanquished the ghost and I've come back triumphantly, and me and the final girl are like, we survived, oh my god. You just like, the final shot is just like you see some sinister look on my face, like, I'm secretly going to kill you.
Yeah,
I watch way too many horror movies.
The after credit stinger.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. I get that last like ding right before directed by Mike Flanagan.
Queen Moon says Goon Fuckery 2.
The Twitch Witch.
That's it. That's the title.
Yes.
That's the title.
Oh, I love it.
Let's go back to Wissahickon and shoot
Awesome.
the
Yeah,
pilot
wait a second.
for
So
Don't play D&D
So-
after midnight.
forget the stream. Forget Call of Cthulhu. Let's write a screenplay on stream tonight. That's gonna. let's just write a screenplay.
Or
We're
like
gonna
a
be rich.
screenplay. Am I right?
In the chat, give us your best horror titles with Goon in it.
I love it. Oh, I love it so much.
Project. We have Goon Fuckery 2, The Twitch Witch.
We got a
Amazing.
creative bunch. We
Amazing.
got a creative bunch of our gaggle is a creative bunch, I should say. What do we think Dan is? He's not here to defend himself, so I can't kill him, but we can make fun of him all we want.
Dan is the.
He's
Dan's
definitely
the hot guy that he has sex with the hot girl in the movie, and then they both get killed doing it.
Oh.
He's the
Oh,
Kevin
no.
Bacon.
He's
He's
the
the
hot
young Kevin Bacon in
Dan's the hot one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
The
definitely.
mid-coital murder. Oh,
Yep,
oh
mid-coital
dear.
murder, 100%.
Oh no.
I think At or Dan is definitely one of the. Is anybody there? I definitely think he's one of those too.
Yes.
Absolutely. Ooh, we got.
He's Paris Hilton in what the frick is it
Yes.
called? House of Wax.
We have Goons of the Corn. We have the Goons. The Goons have eyes. We have Silence of the Goons.
Yeah.
Friday Goon Team.
I mean, Trevor knows how I feel about The Hills Have Eyes. It's very important to me. Goon too soon?
I love that.
Goonoween.
Trying to think if I've seen any really good ones lately. I mean, I see so many horror movies, and I don't know if I've seen any like really outstanding ones. I think the last time I saw a horror movie that really made me go like, "Whoa, this is cool and different," it was called Host, and it's on Shudder, which is the exclusively horror streaming service, which naturally I have, and it was like one of the first movies I saw that was made post-pandemic. So the whole concept is that it's a seance, but it's all just a Zoom chat. You're watching these people do a seance over Zoom, and the seance goes the way seances tend to go in horror movies. But they do really cool things with like virtual backgrounds, and they mess with stuff, and it's so clever and so creative, and it's short. It's only like an hour long, but it just blew my freaking mind. So I highly recommend, if you have the means to go see that one, that you do. Yeah, that was the last time I saw a horror movie that I was like, I'm gonna remember this one, I think. Anyway, let's see. Oh, okay. So, why don't we've talked enough about horror movies. I've decided. Let's go around and let's just go ahead and reintroduce ourselves. I'm going to switch things up a little bit, and I'm going to start by going that way and asking our dear Trevor to tell us about Dicky Harrow.
Buffalo, Dicky Harrow, survivor of the Great War, and a bit of a cinemaphile. I now with there's something smells a little rotten, here in this small town in Ohio. So I'm hesitant though I may be. I'm busting open my old gear from the Great War and feeling like kicking a little ass.
Yeah, that was a great scene last time with you like going under your bed and moving this floorboard and pulling out this duffel bag and zipping it open, and there is your old Enfield.
Yep.
That was cool
Pulling
stuff.
back the slide.
Why don't... Yeah, right? Just checking it out, cleaning it all, doing all your soldier stuff. Let's go now to my southeast, and let's hear from Ned playing Buddy Wilson.
Hey, Buddy Deadeye Wilson, 52 years old and young. He's he's there for some not so kosher reasons. Here to break up a couple unions that may or may not be forming, and but he's got some sketchy backstory stuff going on, and he finds himself in the same situation, weirded out by everything that's going on. Some guy sitting on a telephone pole last we checked.
Yeah, and speaking of telephones, we very briefly met your ex-wife Margaret last time.
Mm-hmm. Very briefly.
I mean, very briefly.
Quarter of a second brief.
That was
God,
wild.
I loved that. That was like,
yeah.
I was trying to think, like, this is back in the 1920s. Like, phone etiquette, I think, is still kind of like a new thing. Like, how must it have felt in the 1920s to have someone hang up on you before they even say anything?
Ooh.
You know, that's just like, I have no idea. I don't know the answer to that question, but it's popped into my head once or twice.
Awful. It probably felt awful because they had to take the time to route to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or scary.
Yeah, well, I mean,
or terrifying. Somebody found your number and got all the way to you and then hung up.
Don't know. All right, let's go. Last but not least, not last or least, neither last nor least. Let's go next. Let's go third out of fourth to my southwest, and let's hear from you, Tyler. Tell us about your investigator, Mr. Benny Kaplan.
Yeah, so Benny Kaplan's the Philly-born Jewish boxer. Pretty ugly guy. A lot of scar tissue on his face. Nose been broken too many times to count. But, he does what he's got to do to put food on the table for his wife and two little kids at home. And he's pretty self-aware. He knows he's not the smartest bulb in the box. Yeah, exactly. That's what you can't even say.
That's the metaphor he uses.
Brightest bulb in the box. That's pretty much Benny.
He's the one who says, "Why don't you make like a tree and get the hell out of here?"
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yes, your family. Who?
Benny, what are your kids' names again?
Maxie, and we got a little connection here, Margaret.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, his daughter's name is Margaret, and we did meet them last week. We met Maxie and Margaret.
Mm-hmm.
Maxie, who fancies himself the bantamweight barnstormer, wants to take after his old man.
Yeah, I'm trying to teach him how to fight a little better than Pops. You gotta dodge and weave, not just block the punches with your face like I like to do. So
maybe when your life was graced with this child, you were reminded of how you once looked and thought, "Oh man, I let that go to waste."
If only. But hey, somebody's got to protect the corner, and it came on these broad shoulders. So what am I gonna do?
Indeed it did. A heavy weight, a heavy load for you to carry. All right, now fourth out of four. Let's go to my west. Let's hear from you, Campbell. Tell us about your investigator, Sweetie McLintock.
It's me, Sweetie McLintock, housewife turned budding Avon lady, or at this point in history, the California Perfume Company. Last episode, we met a couple of important people in my life, including my husband, Howard.
Boo, yeah. I can hear the chat right now going, boo.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have a chat with this Howard figure.
Maybe.
I'll join you in that. And as well as the McDermotts, Arnold and Gladys. We met Arnold in a.
It is.
Is that Rat Cave?
We did, and
called him
that's in my
Arthur a
notes. I was going to get to that next, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, we met Arnold McDermott, who I have some kind of, I'm somehow, entangled with, and his wife Gladys, who she and I had a horrifying run.
You were so close to selling her that hyacinth perfume. You really were.
Was I?
Always be selling. Oh no, always be closing. Always be closing, sweetie. Always be closing. Yeah.
Always be Cthulhu.
But yes, thank you for the reminder. I was going to mention we do need to distinguish the difference between Arnold McDermott, who is Gladys McDermott's husband. He's the one who brought you some German potato salad in a flashback last episode, and I was calling him mistakenly Arthur. Since last week, I have made a list of NPCs that I've introduced thus far because I just keep getting their names confused. It's my own damn fault for making two NPCs named Arnold and Arthur. Dumb. But yes, I was calling Arnold Arthur. So Arthur is Arthur Bircher, who works at the lumber mill and is Freddie with Buddy Wilson, and is married to Eloise Bircher.
Right, we were at her house.
Yes, you were at the home of Arthur and Eloise Bircher. And Arthur is one of the workers at the lumber mill who has expressed interest in unionization, which, as we've established, Buddy has his ear to the ground on that front. So, just wanted to clear that up, as much for my own sake as for everybody else's. Arthur and Arnold, and Arnold and Arthur. And madness and mercy and mercy and madness. Are we picking up a theme here? I like to get a lot of things mixed up. So, yes, those were some of the key things that we... so thank you for your reintroductions and for mentioning some of the key things that we ran into last time. But enough about last week. Let's talk about this week. So, I think, I like to imagine sometimes... our games. Well, actually, first let's take our little moment, right? Let's put ourselves in the mindset of the mindset and the time frame of our investigators. Excuse me. Let me expel that modern day air from my body. And breathe in the year that was 1927. America was in a time of prosperity economically. People could afford cars and live out in the suburbs as they drove out to their jobs in the city. Think about your investigators in particular, how they differ from you, how they're similar from you, what parts of them you share in common, and how they diverge. And think also about, just about what you have in common, and try to put yourselves in that mindset. Try to remember the things that have happened to you thus far. And think about how you, as your investigator, would be feeling at this time of great uncertainty in the town of Mayfield. Let me put on a little bit of 1920s music to help get you in the mood. Now, I do like to think sometimes of our adventure as something... Well, I like to think of it as if it were a movie, So, or I suppose actually in this case a TV show, an episodic. So as we open this episode, I imagine just like a wide shot over to the town of Mayfield as we see what few cars there are making their way down the wider streets that intersect in the center of town. Now, not far at all from that intersection, in one of those two arterial streets, we zoom in a bit and see a set of skid marks left from the night before, when a car screeched to a halt, turned around, and sped away. Then just a bit further down that street is a modest but well-kept house. Inside the home of Sweetie McLintock, we see that it is empty and clean. No one inside. Clean save for an uneaten sandwich on a plate on the kitchen counter, and one barely noticeable streaky stain left from some liquid running down one of the walls of the living room. Going back outside Sweetie's house and back through that intersection, we can make our way down the other main street to a movie theater. And we see the inside of that theater. We make our way over to an office with a desk covered in papers in front of a very comfortable looking chair. The chair is empty, and the office is silent. Back outside the theater, we sort of imagine like lifting the camera up a bit as we see a small group of people hurrying out of that theater. They look around, trying to squint as they glance up and down the street. Two of them suddenly point towards the end of the road. And finally, we go back to our sky view of Mayfield and come down again, this time on a barn, further from the center of town. Within that barn, just imagine the camera on a track, slowly creeping towards the back wall, where we can clearly see a door covered in chains and a padlock. That camera then zooms all the way into the keyhole of that padlock, leaving the screen in total blackness. And then two words fade up. Day 2.
Oh shit!
Well done. All right.
Investigators, you are standing outside of the movie theater. Buddy and Hugsley, with their keen perception and excellent spot hidden rolls, have noticed an elderly man standing up at the top of a telephone pole. Hugsley suddenly catches a glimpse of the large clock outside the Mayfield Commercial Trust and Savings Bank. Ah, shit. It's Wednesday. I have to go teach Intro to Depth Psychology at the university. I'll catch up with you all later. And he scurries off.
Amazing. Freaking amazing.
On the way, he faints!
Wait. Oh, all right.
Man, that guy gotta sort out his priorities. All right.
You think the guy never carried a pocket watch or something, you know?
So I'll run over to Old Man Pearson up at the top of the light post.
Okay, it's a ways. It was kind of hard to notice him. He's like way down the street, so maybe taking a light jog as you kind of run all the way. Would the rest of you like to follow? Take a light jog?
Yeah, did I make it outside? Yeah. I say I followed the action. I certainly didn't roll high enough.
That was the assumption was that everybody went out.
Okay, yes, I'm going with.
Yes, only Hugsley and Benny were able to notice all the way at the end of the street. Were able to see the figure standing at the top of the telephone pole. And actually, we're also able, I mentioned last week, since they both rolled extreme successes on their spot hidden rolls, we're able to tell that this man standing on the telephone pole was doing some kind of work up there. His hands were busy, but he seemed really happy to be doing it. Just seemed in really great spirits.
And did we see it's the Old Man Pearson, is that right?
I mean, they could tell that it was an elderly man on top of a telephone pole. Have not confirmed, but it's kind of a foregone conclusion. Like, what other old men are climbing to the top of telephone poles in Mayfield, Ohio, in 1927?
Say, really? I mean,
that's it.
Anyway, yeah. So,
a hell of an estimate.
Provided Benny Hugsley left, but provided Benny points out this old man on top of a telephone pole, then yeah, I'll briskly jog over to Old Man Pearson.
Okay,
excellent. How about the rest of you? You're following?
Yes.
Yeah, Buddy's gonna do like a slow, kind of like a lineman jog. Just kind of like.
He's got to take care of those joints. He's getting a little up in years.
Well, old and he's hungover, so
last fucking thing I wanted to do today.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, yeah. So you all briskly make your way to the end of the street, and yes, there you are at the base of this telephone pole. And I think, let's see. So yeah, I think with the exception of Buddy, you would all recognize Old Man Pearson. Up at the top of this telephone pole. He's whistling to himself. Whistling a jaunty tune as he's got some tools, got a little tool belt. He's standing up at the top, and he's just sort of tinkering with something.
Mr. Pearson, What are you doing up there?
Oh,
wait a minute. You know
Yeah,
this
sure. He
guy?
runs the movie theater. He gave me my job. Are you okay?
and as you call out to him, he looks down at you and sort of does it like, oh, hello, Dicky. It's so great to see you. Who are your friends?
Oh, just some work friends or something. This is Sweetie and Buddy and Benny. But that's not really why we're here. What are you doing all the way up? How did you even get all the way up there?
Well, I climbed, my dear boy.
You climbed up there by yourself.
I certainly did.
Okay. I mean, Mr. Pearson, please forgive me, but I mean, I've seen you struggle up the steps to your office, so I'm just. Why did you climb up there? Did you lose your paper or something, and in the wind that flew up there?
Oh
But
no!
he just does a deadpan.
Oh, well, God, look, he's
Your paper.
an old man. Go gentle on him.
Well, Dicky, it's been a long time, but as a young boy, nothing brought me more joy than climbing a tree.
Okay, well, that's not a tree, Mr. Pearson. There's like a lot of electrics up there. It's pretty dangerous.
Well, that's true. That's true. I will give you that, Dicky. And I will also say that in addition to my interest in climbing to high places that I've carried with me since a boy, you know, better than most anyone in this town, that I also have a standing interest in projection and movies, the pictures.
Uh-huh.
Well, I have some exciting things to tell you, my dear boy. And as he's saying this, he sort of like unclips himself from whatever apparatus he's got going on there and starts making his way.
Pearson, I wouldn't do that if I were you. That's a long fall. Buddy.
It's all right. It's all right. I got up here, didn't I? And he starts climbing down. And as he's climbing down, you actually notice that he looks really spry. He looks almost like he's a man 40 years younger than himself. All of that achy jointiness seems to be gone, and he's just like very deftly climbing his way down. And in fact, the last 2 feet or so, instead of stepping gently off the pole, he like jumps off and lands with like boom, right in front of you, Dicky. And he like stands right back up, and he's face to face with you.
Gosh, Mr. Pearson, I mean, yeah, looks like somebody got up on the right side of the bed, I guess.
Right you are, my boy. Right you are.
Are you feeling okay? What is it you wanted to tell me?
Oh, better than ever, Dicky. Better than ever. Listen, I have been keeping up to date with some very fascinating news lately. Now, you know I've run this theater for, oh, goodness, too many years to count at this point, but, Dicky, the theater is a self-propelled machine. That's what I've realized over the years running it. And motion picture is wonderful, but do you know what's missing, Dicky?
Sound?
Sound! Exactly! Sound is what's missing, Dicky. Sure, we can have someone come in and play the piano along with it, but I've begun thinking, why couldn't we use the radio to broadcast the sound that goes along with talking pictures? And here's the best part, Dicky. First, it could just be to the theater, but then maybe even directly into your home.
Well, now wait a minute. That's absurd. How would you even begin to do that?
Well, my dear boy, what is your name, young man?
What, Buddy.
Buddy,
Wilson. Pleasure to meet you, Mr.
Pleasure to meet you. Yeah. Yes, Mr. Pearson. It's a pleasure to meet you, buddy. Well, let me tell you. Ever since the World's Fair in Paris 27 years ago, the Russians have been working on a series of inventions that could transmit a series of images via a cathode ray tube to a kinescope that would accompany the radio in your living room. I've been reading all the latest scientific journals, and it sounds like Bell Telephone are about to crack it. But there's still no sound. Radio is falling behind, Dicky, and I'm here to catch it up.
Listen, Mr. Pearson, what you're saying is going way over my head. It sounds great, and I would love to help you in this venture, because boy, you sure do seem excited about it. Let's just, if we could have, is that why you were up at the top of the pole, though? I mean, is that part of the plan?
Oh, yes, of course. Well, one thing at a time, Dicky. And before we now look, that cathode ray tube and kinescope technology is still a ways off. but I just want to be ready for it when it comes. In the meantime, the school teacher and I have been developing a series of amplifiers that will make the radio signal here in Mayfield much stronger. I was just installing one right now. I dare say if you were to go home and turn the radio on, it'd sound clearer than ever. No more reading flickering newsreels for us, Dicky. In a few years, the radio will deliver news to your ears so clearly you wouldn't miss a word. And the kinescope will bring you images to accompany it. Mayfield is going to be at the center of a revolution, my dear boy.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Pearson. Are you saying that we're going to see images with the radio?
That's right. See images with the radio. Imagine you're watching Charlie Chaplin, and he's standing in front of a house, and the facade of that house falls down around him, and he just barely manages to get through the window of that house and escape injury. Not only do you see it, but you hear the splintering of wood and the crash as it comes down, and you hear dust settling as he looks around bewildered. Isn't that an amazing idea?
Like it's the radio telling you things, but to your eyes?
That's exactly
like a
right.
television?
Mr. Pearson, I hate to burst your bubble.
No, wait. Dicky, I want you to say that again, but very, very slowly.
So, well, it's like the radio is telling things to your eyes instead of your ears. So it's like a vision.
You're a genius, Dicky! And he gives you like a bear hug. He comes in and...
Did he just canonically invent the television?
Uh-huh.
He's gonna turn to you and go, did you catch any of that?
Absolutely not.
Trevor just broke himself.
No idea.
Okay, all right. Well, that's all great. Well, I'm as excited for television as anybody else is. But for right now, Mr. Pearson, why don't we back? We were all about to go over to the theater, have a little chat. Why don't we get you back there? You know, I think maybe being back in your old office, it'll be good for your head. You know, you seem a little agitated. Why don't we all head back to the theater?
Oh, well, I do have a few more amplifiers to install, but I don't see why not. You know, I'm certain this will work, and I think that I've even already improved the sound of telephone calls.
Wait. You were installing stuff up there?
Yes, amplifiers, like I mentioned, for radio.
Where did these amplifiers
I built them.
come from?
That's right.
Oh, you built them. Well, I mean, Mr. Pierce, no disrespect, but I mean, you know, I've seen you struggle with the projectors. I mean, how did you come up with this idea?
the projectors were always something that were out of my hands. You know, I suppose I saw them as a means to an end. But had I really felt the passion for this, for the projectors that I feel for this, I suppose I very well may have gotten down on hands and knees with a screwdriver and opened one up and seen what makes them tick.
When did this passion start? Was this sudden?
Oh, I should say so. As if maybe about I suppose not quite a week ago, as if I was struck by inspiration.
I'm gonna turn and kind of like just to the side to Sweetie, and say like, when did that friend of yours starting this whole music
kick? When did he quit his job? Hold on, I'm just gonna consult this tiny notebook I carry with me everywhere.
Oh, that's mine.
So
that's mine. No, that's good.
Think about doing that myself. Not gonna lie.
So, Sweetie, if this is day 2, on early day 1, you remember speaking to Lucille and Raymond about how he quit his job. I think I said like 2 days ago.
All right. Oh yes, it was this week as well.
Well, wait a minute.
And apparently it came on all of a sudden. He can't tell me where it came from.
Buddy's gonna lean into Dicky and go, my buddy Wayne that works with me, He went missing about a week ago. He's been out sick since then. I mean, when I say sick, I mean, you know, a couple chairs short of a parlor if you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Something's going on here. I don't know. I don't like
There's
it.
something else I need to tell y'all that happened late last night after we left. I think we should go find someplace private.
Right. Okay, so yeah, like I said, Mr. Pearson, why don't we take a break from this tuba seeing, and we can go. Yeah, we'll just head back to the theater and take a little break. You've been working hard out here.
Right about that you are, Dicky. Well, there are more things I could do with the theater anyway. I haven't. Well, come to think of it, I don't think I've been there in a day or two. It's probably time I at least showed my face.
You've been out here doing
Fair
this
enough.
for a day. Did you go home?
Oh, at least. Well, you have to understand, not all the time was spent on top of telephone poles, my dear boy. A lot of it was spent in my basement, tinkering with these amplifiers and figuring out the right way to make them work.
Huh.
Mr. Pearson, I'm sort of bored here. I'm excited about this idea. If I could get a look at some of these things you've been making, I see if I can maybe help you put them together, like help you with the projection.
That would be splendid, Dicky. Excellent idea. Let's make our way back.
Sure, sounds good.
All right. So do you all go back to the theater?
Yes.
Old Man Pearson is walking at the front of the group, strutting and whistling a jaunty tune.
Can Buddy see the amplifier from the ground? Can he see it up there? Or is it
you can try. I think it'll be tough.
All right, screw it. I'll give it a roll.
It'll be tough. I don't know if you'll be able to see like the inner workings of it, but give me a roll, see what happens.
Just wanted to see what it looks like, That is a 69 over 50.
Hey.
Darn.
It's an automatic pass, though, right?
It's not best case.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, I think you're you see just a tangle of wires and boxes, and you don't know an amplifier from a receiver from a transistor
from a telephone pole. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Bunch of electrical mumbo jumbo to me.
Precisely.
Alrighty. Well, I follow him back.
Okay. Go right ahead. So you all do, and you make your way back to the theater. And as you're going back, are you saying anything to each other? There's one thing I want to check out real quick before I. But yeah, let's hear what sort of things are going through your heads as you walk back to the theater behind this surprisingly spry old man.
People go missing a week ago. People find a new talent a week ago. Do I, Kay? If I'm thinking back, I know I don't get out of the theater all that much. But did anything like weird happen a week ago? Was there like
an electrical storm,
like a meteor striking the town? Or,
nothing catastrophic that you can remember. Why don't you give me? Let's see if there's some kind of roll on this that I can have you do. Let's have you do a. I guess just a general no roll. Anyone who wants to can also try to get inside Old Man Pearson's head a little bit if you'd like.
Yes.
Like to check that, yeah.
No. What's that?
Now, where is no? What do we know?
Oh, no is just your education. Roll against your education score.
Oh, all right.
I'm not gonna know.
I know.
You know.
I do know.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
I
so
rolled
close.
a 31 under 50.
Okay.
I rolled 34 under 65.
Okay.
Ooh.
I rolled a 31
Drat.
over 30.
You almost know.
Okay. Well, let's see. So those of you who
Almost
were
no.
successful, no, there was not anything catastrophic that happened in town. No meteor strikes, no electrical storms. Excuse me. However, you do remember just in your goings about town, hearing whispers from a few people about about some things that were said in church last week. I'm trying to think, see if I can actually find the exact...
Well, Buddy hasn't been to church in, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years.
No Easter and Christmas for you.
I mean, listen, sweetie, the only time I'm at the church on Christmas is if I'm, trying to get a ride home. Just saying.
I thought you were going to say as if somebody close to me died
Well, they
for
have,
Christmas.
but it's just not kosher.
Well,
Whoa. What's all this kosher talk? You talking about me?
Full circle!
Ayo.
So,
Well done,
those of you
everyone.
who succeeded will remember hearing little whispers of something that was said in church last week. So,
What about
Reverend Fitzgerald.
What about for us
go ahead.
synagogue-going folk? Or maybe
Mayfield-
my wife heard this when she was hanging out with those church-going folk.
Well, I don't think Mayfield has one. If you want to go to, anyone who's not
So the wife
Catholic,
picked this up and told me then, maybe.
anyone who's not, well, she hasn't been to the church yet, but anyone
that's
who's
true.
Christian, anyone who's Christian in this, anyone who's not Christian in this town would either have to go out of town or, do some sort of at-home worship. That's just, they don't really cater to many
Yeah.
non-Christian religions in this small town.
I'm an at-home kind of guy.
I guess the real Cthulhu was the Christianity we found along the way.
was the Christianity that converted
everybody-
Benny's wife.
So those of you who did know, and remind me again, who was that? That was Sweetie and Benny. Yeah. So you may have heard not from going yourself, but from hearing just people around town just chatting who were there or heard from someone else. That Reverend Fitzgerald had a bit of an unusual and perhaps a little shocking sermon this past Sunday. He was talking about slavery and quoted from Leviticus chapter 25, verses 44 to 46. Yeah. But a lot of people were a little shocked by this. A little...
What was
Well,
he saying about it?
I don't think...
Can I know
You can roll...
Leviticus?
There's probably... I think I'll have to make you do a separate roll on that one.
Roll to know Leviticus.
Yeah, there is there a religion skill? I don't think there is, but there is a... It might be a little controversial to give it to you for an occult roll. Yeah.
Occult?
So I think that would just be another no roll. Or you could, if you wanted to go to a library and pick up a Bible, you could do a library use check. But I don't think you would know that verse off the top of your head. Unless you do really well on a no roll, which would just be against your education. Yeah, give it a roll.
Let me try to know. Oh, that was not a real roll. That was. What happens when I roll a 65 on 65?
65 against 65.
Beats.
Meets it, beats it. Yeah, that's how that goes. So I think...
So maybe I don't know all of
Yeah,
Leviticus.
maybe not all of Leviticus, and maybe not all of this particular passage. But perhaps enough to know that it's very like Old Testament-y. It's got some really dated...
A little
fire and brimstone. It's got some really like not great ideas on like haves and have-nots,
Huh. All right.
Is that the one where...
Okay.
Never mind, I'm not even
Okay.
into it. Let's move on.
But yes, you remember, so no catastrophic events, but you do remember hearing some whispers of people talking about Reverend Fitzgerald this past Sunday and having some controversial things to say. Some people, I think you would also remember that some people were sitting closer to the front of church, or you hear this, or perhaps you were there. Sweetie, you may have been.
I think I was
Yeah, so you probably were there.
there. Yeah.
You remember seeing that some people were sitting really close to the front of the church and just were right along there with him, were really riveted. some other people, got up and left in disgust.
Wow.
Would I remember if, like, specifically, would I remember if Arnold and Gladys were sitting up front?
Would you remember specifically if Arnold and Gladys were sitting up front?
If they seemed into it.
I think you would remember them as being present, as they usually are, but perhaps more middling. Not really, like, what they might have been as confused as you may have been. And in fact, since you got that role, and if you were at church, you might remember some of the actual words of the passage, maybe not the whole thing word for word. But perhaps the part that stood out most to you was the opening line of this verse, which is, however, thy slaves, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathens that are round about you. Yeah. So you probably remember that line. That probably was a little concerning to you.
Oh dear.
Maybe we should go talk to this reverend after we're done at the movie theater.
I think that's a good idea. It didn't seem like
Sweetie, you look a little bit bothered. I mean, what was it that he said exactly? Was it?
There was something strange he said, because most of his sermons are all about community and family and all of us being here in this small place together and taking care of each other. But this was more, felt like, this one felt like turning against each other, or that some people were going to rule over other people. That's what it sounded like.
Hey, look, the world just tore itself apart, making sure that nobody ruled over nobody else.
We're
not bringing that into Mayfield.
I might not be the best Catholic here, but last I checked, rolling over people wasn't exactly in the Bible, or recommended, I should say.
It is, but we kind of left that part behind.
I can see why you would do that.
Well, let's get to the bottom of this one way or the other. Come on. We're almost back to the theater.
Excellent. All right, so
Hey, Pearson, let me get that door for you. Hold on.
Oh, well, how polite of you. Go right ahead.
Opens said door.
Old Man Pearson strides on in, gives a big wave to Gerta Franklin, née Gibberman, says, "Why, Gerta, looking beautiful, popping that corn as always. Great to see you." And she gives him a look like, "Great to see you too, Mr. Pearson." And kind of gives you, Dicky, a look like.
I gave her one back. Trying to figure it out. Yeah, thanks for that, Gerta. Anyway.
Hey, Gerta, don't work too hard, okay?
All right. Well, old man. I almost called him Old Man Pearson. He's great. Mr.
Yes, Dicky.
So why don't you show us?
Yes,
your
do come with me.
workspace, so to speak.
And he leads you into his office, and there's his big desk with all these papers, and he has like this big kind of comfortable looking leather chair that he sits in, usually that you know him to sit in most of his time when he's at the theater. But he opens a drawer in his desk and pulls out like this mat, almost like a little board that's just got all these little tiny little wires and like, I'm not really sure what electronics looked like in the 1920s, but it's like the 1920s equivalent of the inside of a computer. But Dicky, I believe you have some proficiency in mechanical repair, so I will encourage you to go ahead and roll against that.
Heck yeah. It's more generally for cars and tanks, but
machines.
Yeah, that's 60 on 60.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah. So you see this like collection of little wires and bits and bobs and pieces and boards and like switches, and the way you see it, there's essentially four main components here. Well, three main components. There is a wireless receiver. There is a wired receiver. And then there is... I was right. Four. Wireless receiver, wired receiver, wireless transmitter or amplifier, and a wired amplifier. Something that looks like it could increase the strength of a signal. Almost like a transformer or something that can take some sort of sound in, whether that's coming across wires or across the waves, and send it out with more strength than it would normally be received by like a radio or a telephone in this town. Yeah,
but it all looks pretty legit. Like
it's not scrawled with any like occult symbols or anything. It's just
Yeah, right. Mr. Pearson, this is all great. This truly a scientific
revolution, my boy.
If
revolution.
Ever there was one. Yeah, and you better believe, I'm gonna be right up there with you, revolving.
Yeah, that's good job there, Dicky.
But let me tell you, what do you figure is gonna be transmitted over these newfangled devices?
I suppose that's not really up to me, but whatever you'd like. The sound for your moving pictures, the news, the sound for the cartoon reels, clearer telephone calls, whatever else people might want to watch on their kinescopes, or, excuse me, televisions.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I just get a quarter every time somebody
Deal.
says it.
Yeah, in 20 money.
Dicky,
Yeah.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I think maybe you need somebody to manage that whole thing while you sit back and
What's a quarter in 1927? That's got to be like
$100,000.
Well, I don't know if it's that much, but
Wow. In that economy?
It's gotta be like at least a buck or two.
What was a quarter in
I don't know. But
It ain't nothing.
let me ask you, Mr. Pearson. I mean, we've known each other, quite a bit of time, but I don't know all that much, about you. Do you mind if I ask? You wouldn't happen to be a church-going man, would you?
Church going. Well, as he's like sitting there tinkering with his things. Hey, I go. Well, I can't say I go all that religiously, if you pardon the pun, but I do believe. I just wouldn't call myself devout.
Did you happen to hear that last sermon a couple days ago that made people go a little batty, you might think?
No, I didn't. I heard tell of it, but I must confess, if this is my confession, forgive me, Father, I wasn't in church this past weekend.
Okay. All right.
As he's like continuing to tinker, tightening some screws.
Hey, Mr.
Well, let me, Mr. Pearson, just, it's funny. I don't know if I told you. Before I fought in the Great War, I was actually going to school to be a lawyer. I don't know if I mentioned. Yeah, no, I know it's true. And I'm just, this is going to be big. What you're
God willing, maybe I should go back to church.
Right. And so we don't want you to end up like that Tesla fellow. So maybe why don't you let me get a patent for what you're making here, And then once I have that settled, then you can go back putting them up all over town. But until that's done, why don't you just stay here, Mr. Pearson, and matriculate on this, percolate on this a little bit more. And so then I'll come back, I'll have your patent all set, and we'll be ready to revolve.
Well, Dicky, I think that's a splendid idea, and I truly appreciate your entrepreneurial spirit. That's really quite inspiring. I'm so glad that I've been able to instill you with the same passion for this that I have. That said, I think at this point, the things that I've been doing are mostly things that are already known of. I think connecting the sound to the sight will be the real ticket. But everything else is already in place. I honestly can't say I've invented anything just yet. What I'm doing here is trying to improve the infrastructure that already exists in our dear, dear Mayfield.
No, I mean, makes perfect sense. I just, it's just weird days, Mr. Pearson, and you, well, I don't know, you always been real good to me. Nobody else in this town really was. You were the first one to really give me a shot, and I just don't want to see you get hurt, climbing up those telephone poles and all. So, well, why don't you just, take the rest of the day off at least?
Oh, Dicky, that's very kind of you. I have to tell you, though, it brings me a great deal of joy to climb up onto those telephone poles.
Does it now?
Yes, you can see all the way across. It truly reminds me of when I was a young boy. As I said, there was nothing that brought me more joy than climbing a tree. Going up high and feeling the breeze in my hair and looking out and being able to see so much farther than I could from the ground. I don't know, Dicky. I will take the rest of the day off. But I can't make any promises about tomorrow.
Well, I won't ask you to. I mean, I'm only really seeing half the world anyway. For me to deprive you of a beautiful sight, I just want to make sure everything's set and square before we start, climbing poles.
Very well. Well, Dicky, tell you what. Why don't you tell me when you go home tonight? In fact, this goes for all of you. When you go home tonight, turn on your radios. Tell me how it sounds. Tell me if the sound from those radios is not clearer and crisper, and you can make out all of the muffled speech that you normally hear from the news in the evening. Make a telephone call. Call a loved one. In fact, just the other day, I heard... Well, never mind what I heard, but why don't you give it a try?
Well, what'd you hear?
You heard something?
Oh, just the radio. That's it. Yes, of course. The radio is just... I tried it myself, and the radio does sound quite a bit clearer, and I think the more amplifiers I put up, the better that'll get.
Huh. Well, it's going to be a shame, because I don't have a radio back at my place, but, I'm sure my friends here will be able to, tell you.
Oh, yes. Now, do we have to wait until a certain time of night to try this out?
It's working now. Anytime the radio is broadcasting. In the middle of the night, of course, it's just white noise as usual once the broadcast day ends. But during the day, if you can hear anything on the radio, you'll hear it better. I can almost guarantee it.
Huh.
And if you can't, be sure to let me know, because that means I have some tinkering to do and telephone poles to climb.
Yeah.
We'll be sure to report, Mr.
Fantastic.
Pearson. Thank you. Well, like I said, my friends and I, we got a little bit of business to discuss, so we're probably just gonna go on our way. But take a load off. You've been working hard.
Fair enough, Dicky.
Now, Mr. Pearson, this might be a silly question, but did you see anything particularly interesting while you were up there on that telephone pole? It seems like the sights were really something.
They truly were, my dear. Sweetie, is it? Yes, excellent. I remember seeing you. You've come into the theater once or twice. You're married, aren't you? How's your husband doing?
Yeah. Oh, he's just fine.
Excellent.
He's just fine. Yes.
Well, to answer your question, sweetie, nothing out of the ordinary. I look out over the town, and everyone looks so peaceful.
You don't say.
Yes. You can hear everything. You can see everything. It's nice to go somewhere high every once in a while and just take the world in from a different point of view.
Well, I'll have to try it myself sometime.
You certainly will.
Alrighty. Shall we, friends?
Exeunt, stage left.
Yeah.
Exeunt, pursued by Bear.
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah. So, are you still planning on heading up to the projection booth?
Yeah, go up to the projection room and yeah, we can talk.
Excellent.
About
As
what
we're
we
heading
discovered.
up to the projection room, Buddy's gonna turn to Sweetie and go, "Hey, Sweetie, Mr. Pearson know your husband?"
I mean, everybody kind of knows everybody.
Just
I'm not sure. Do you
just
think
thought it
that's
was weird that he
strange?
knew to ask about your husband. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It tends to be
Oh,
the
why do you
first
say
thing
that?
people ask me about anything.
Well, I mean, if I'm prying, I don't want, I don't,
Oh,
I don't mean to pry or anything. I just.
no, it's just that he had a little medical trouble. He worked at the lumber mill. He had an accident a couple months ago, and we weren't sure if he was going to be
Oh,
okay.
he had an accident. What
but,
happened?
He's okay. Oh, he had a little bit of a head injury. Something
And you
fell
see,
and clunked him
you
on
see
the head.
Buddy's face kind of gets like a little. Oh. Yeah, it's a shame that happened. Yeah. How's he recovering? You doing okay?
He's all right. Yeah, mostly resting. It's strange. When something clunks you in the head bad like that, it kind of changes the things you think about, I think. It kind of changes,
Yeah.
just makes you different.
How so?
Oh, he just used to be a little different. He seems upset. He seemed upset.
Yeah.
For a while now.
I know a lot of the guys I fought with, they send you over there, you're still a kid. I mean, I was 18, and I don't know, just a lot of them. Those things that happen in those trenches, kind of. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I get it. Stuff can change you. Are you okay?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.
Sure.
Why don't we sorry, my head's a little scrambled.
You need a drink of water?
No, right. I
Can
mean,
get
business at
Can
hand.
we get you a glass of water or?
Oh, don't worry about it. Why don't we I have just been taking up all the air in this room. Why don't we talk about something else?
Sure. I mean, we're sort of on a mission anyway, after all.
That's exactly right. Yes.
So, sweetie, I mean, I think there was something you wanted to tell us, right? That happened last night after we sort of departed.
Wow.
Got it.
Wow. Fucking. If that's not on the bingo card, I'm gonna be so fucking mad.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Gold.
All right. Gentlemen, I saw something last night that I simply cannot explain. Do y'all know Gladys McDermott?
Oh yeah. Kind of. She's kind of goofy looking, but real sweet person.
Well, I wouldn't say any of that. I would say that she's a good church-going Christian and she makes a fabulous German potato salad. I saw her while I was...
Not as good as mine, mind you, but...
She doesn't put enough mustard in it. You ask me.
Keep telling her.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
So we all went our separate ways last night when we all left Eloise and Arthur's house. Yes. I decided to take a walk home. And I come to the intersection before I get to my house, and I see Gladys McDermott standing there in the middle of the road looking up at the moon. And she starts saying crazy things to me like she is madder than fire at me. And she starts tearing at her hair and her face. And then, when I finally got away from her, I watched a car pull up, put her inside, and drive away.
You saying she was
Like
abducted?
the car that came and took.
I'm saying she was abducted.
Like the car that came and took the body last night.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember if it was the same car.
Well, sweetie, take a minute. Take a minute and breathe. I want you to try to remember. Was it a pickup truck or was it a car?
Pickup. Oh dear. Oh, can I roll something to see if
You
I remember
absolutely
what kind of car
can.
it
Yes.
was?
God Almighty!
Excuse me, God.
Yes, my child. That's God's voice.
Can I make a God roll?
I think memory is probably just gonna be rolling against your let's say your intelligence. Roll against your intelligence.
Oh.
All right. I'm a pretty smart lady. All right. I got a hard success.
Wow.
I got a 21 under 75.
Excellent. So yeah, at Buddy's suggestion, sweetie, you take a moment, you close your eyes, you take a breath, and you try to put yourself back in the mindset of where you were last night. And it was so frantic. You were so frightened. You really weren't thinking about anything other than surviving in that moment as you're being chased down the street towards your own house by someone you know well. But as you're reliving all of these moments, you look back and you do remember, just as those headlights started speeding up and coming towards you for the initial second after she was grabbed and turning away, in that brief moment before you saw the taillights receding into the distance, you do remember seeing a truck bed.
I turned to Benny. They might have taken her to the barn.
Wait a minute. What do you mean the barn? You two know something we don't?
What'd you do at the barn?
Well, so when we ran off last night, after the kerfuffle with the old man and the police officer, me and Benny, we tailed.
That's right. You got in the
farm,
car and you drove off.
right?
Right.
Who took the body? Right. We followed him to his farm where they dumped the body in a barn, and at the back of the barn there was this door, covered in chains, padlocked, looked like freaking Fort Knox or something. And so we were coming back last night to get the rest of yous, so that we could go back all together, with a little backup. But, the night took its, natural turns. And so I was going to propose to you all that we go back there and investigate it tonight. And it sounds like the barn, might be where they took your friend.
Oh, my Lord. You think she's locked up in there?
Well, I don't know, but, just find out. I think we got to take a trip over there.
Give me
All right.
1 second. Hey, Pearson, do you got a phone in here?
The phone.
I was going to ask the same.
Well, yes, I do. He gestures over to a spot on his desk where, indeed, there is a phone.
So, Buddy's gonna go right over to the phone, and he's gonna try to call Wayne, suspecting that maybe Wayne has also been abducted. Since all of this went down, he wants to go try to call him and make sure that see if he's still there, if he picks up, and if he's
Sure.
That's the goal.
Yeah, so you pick up the receiver, and I think you all know what's coming next. Operator.
Hi, can you get me what the hell is his last name? I roll memory to remember his last name.
You don't need to roll. It's Heitman.
Thank you, sweetheart. Can you get me Wayne Heitman down the road there?
Sure thing, doll. I'll connect you.
Well, I'll tell you, this operator could really use a cough drop, if you know what I'm saying.
I heard that.
Shit.
You know what I'm saying? What are you saying?
It's so dumb.
Do you want me to connect you or not?
Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you kindly.
You have a sexy voice. What are you doing later? I'm so sorry. I'm so
Sweetie,
sorry.
you're not going to believe this, but the operator is hitting on me.
The keeper or is off the rails.
that voice
so
made
I
my
call
dog
Wayne.
very
So I call
concerned.
Wayne.
Yeah.
Ring, 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 ring.
Yes, you call Wayne. And
There's no answer. Click.
Oh, nothing? Y'all, I think we might need to do a little drive about town.
So, while you were tailing that car last night, Dicky, and I know Sweetie remembers. You remember me calling you from Wayne's house, right? So I go to see Wayne because we're organizing a little something, and I don't know, Dicky. Benny, he was a little bit off his rocker. I mean, he was writing strike signs, but they were written in a language that.
Benny, this Benny? Pointing to Benny?
Yeah, Benny, right? And Dicky, right? That's your names. I'm talking about Wayne from last night.
Oh, Wayne. I thought you said Benny. Fine. Continue.
So I go to see Wayne, right? And I'm telling you both, he's a couple marbles short of a game if you're picking up what I'm putting down. I mean, he was writing in a language that I didn't understand. I mean, it would start off with a word, and then it would run off the page, and he was marching in place over and over again, and he looked at me and Arthur with this crazy stare. I mean, not to be rude, Dicky, but you know how some of those guys that go over there and they come back and they just stare. They just have a look in their eyes. They've seen some stuff. He had that look. But he's never seen anything in his life like that.
So you've seen something. I've seen something. We just all saw Mr. Pearson together.
Well,
Benny, have you seen something
We were
strange?
over at that barn. The three guys there were acting strange. They sat in that house and didn't talk. One guy was just throwing a knife over and over again, and something just ain't right.
It definitely sounds like something.
I say we head back there tonight. But in the meantime, is there any business we want to finish up before we do our little raid tonight?
I would really like to drive by Gladys's house real quick and see if she ever made it home last night.
Sure.
Her husband must be worried sick.
Well, let's hop in my roadster. We can be there in a minute.
Let's hop in the
roadster.
Hop in the roadster, kid.
Hop in.
The Roadster. It's a nice car.
Nice cat, kid.
Oh, I was very New York when I said that, wasn't I? Car. I said car, not car. So I think that's probably a good time to take a quick break.
Yeah. 5.
But before we do a quick little 5, yeah. Before we do though, I just want to give a quick shout out to Pendergast, who thought there was something ringing in the house. Pendergast, that's sound by Syrinscape. Yeah. So glad you enjoyed. All right, Gaggle. We're gonna take a quick 5. I'm gonna refill my drink. I'm gonna use the restroom. Go take care of yourselves. Get some water. That goes for you goons as well. And we'll see you back here in just a minute.
See you soon, gang.
Hey.
All right, here we are, Gaggle. We are back. We are back, goons and Gaggle. Some shit is going down. My word. So how are we feeling? Let's sum up where we've been so far. How are you guys feeling about the events of the evening and how they may or may not tie into the events of past evenings?
I'm excited, bro. I want to get to the bottom of the
Yeah.
mystery.
Yeah, I'm pretty jazzed. It feels like we're experiencing the very D&D party making moments. Like it feels like we just formed a party.
Yeah, I think you did. And I think that's, if I may toot my own horn for a second, I think that's something I really wanted to achieve with this is that, I love a good you all meet in a tavern. But I like that there was sort of a prologue to this adventure. And yeah, I think you are all now bonded as a team of investigators. And that's somewhere I was hoping you would get and somewhere I imagined you would get. And it's cool to see it in action. So yeah, good on you guys for banding together and forming a team. I'm putting together a team.
You son
so
of a bitch.
I suppose so I suppose the question now is, what would you all like to do?
Well, I think we're all gonna hop in my roadster and go make sure. We'll see if Sweet's
drive over to the van
is all right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh,
well,
yes.
no, not yet. We're
Okay,
going to,
excellent. All right.
Gladys.
You all
Let's
pile out of the
check in.
projection booth, and if you look over to on your way out, if you look over towards Mr. Pearson's office, you might hear some faint tinkering as the door is open. He's still in there. Gerda is still behind the concession counter making popcorn, and yeah, you all make your way out to that 1921 Dodge Roadster.
1921 Dodge
Buddy
Road.
The
just
four of
takes his hat off and just goes, "My God, that's a hell of a car you got there, kid."
You like
my
it?
God.
Thanks. Uncle Sam got it
Oh,
for
Uncle
me.
Sam likes you a lot, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, I lost half my face.
Oh no.
You got a strong point there. I mean, hell, milk him for all he's worth. Am I right? And he gives him an elbow. And...
Oh, yeah. Well, you
So
are right.
the four of you squeeze into the 2-seater that is the 1921 Dodge Roadster, and yeah, make your way towards the McDermott house.
All right. Now, where in town is the McDermott house? Can I? Is it?
Yeah, I think we could
close
say
to my
it's close to your house. I mean, it's not location is not tremendously important in this setting. I would say, with the exception of Benny's house and a few other locations, most of you are pretty close to the center of town. Yeah.
All right.
I sort of picture that one of those
Okay,
main
I just want
arterial roads is more commercial, and that's where the movie theater might be. One of them is a bit more residential, and that's where your house, sweetie, would be. And then behind those two streets are just the rest of the houses and other businesses and stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, I think I'll just go knock on the door, see if Arnold and Gladys or both of them are in. Do y'all want to stay in the car? Maybe Benny, do you want to come with me in case something crazy happens?
Sure. We'll keep a lookout.
All right. So I'll hop out the car and go up to their front door, Benny behind me, and I'll knock on the front door of the McDermott house.
You do so, and there is no response.
Arnold?
Silence.
Can I go around to the
You
side
certainly can,
and
yeah.
peek in a window?
Okay.
All right.
So you go around the side, you peek in, and I mean, I'm not going to draw it out much longer than we need to. No matter which window you look in, no matter which door you knock on. Nothing.
He's there. Oh dear. Oh no. All right. Oh dear. I'll turn and walk right past Benny, going, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, and go hop back in the car. There's nobody there. There's nobody there. Gladys isn't there. Arnold isn't there. Nobody's there.
They're both missing.
Nobody's home. I don't know.
Well, if it was the same truck that took away the body, then I think it's probably likely that Gladys is at the barn.
Oh, and Arnold, what day is it? Arnold might be at work. He might be at the lumber mill. He might be at work. Buddy, do you have any way to check in and see if he's there?
Well, yeah, actually, we can head down there real quick and see if he's even working.
Sure.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dicky, you're gonna head up to that street there. You're gonna make a right and just head on down until you see the trees.
You got it.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, so you can all pretty easily make your way to the lumber mill. It's just kind of on the edge of town. This was the lumber mill that the town kind of sprouted up around. This is sort of the cornerstone business of this location. But yeah, you make your way up to the lumber mill, and Buddy, you would know from spending a lot of your time there over the last however long that it looks pretty normal. You know, most of the same cars in the parking lot, same sounds of saws going and men working, and nothing at first glance seems out of the ordinary.
I stay here.
Can you just check and
I'll
see
go
if
check.
he's in? Yeah.
Let's see if Wayne showed up too, and I should probably see if Arthur's here. See if he made it home all right.
Sweetie and also Buddy. I did mention last episode that Arnold has somewhat of a distinctive car. I will actually put it up on the stream right now. He drives a Packard Twin 6.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Which is
money.
Which is a car that is, I don't want to use the terminology above his station, but it's something that's like, it's a stretch for him. But you know, Sweetie, from knowing him pretty well, that he got a good deal on a used one and just poured his heart and soul into fixing up this car. And it's like, it is his pride and joy. He loves this car. So both of you would probably know this fairly well. In fact, Dicky, you might even know it from seeing him come to the theater. Benny, you might know it just from seeing it around town and might perhaps know that it belongs to him. That car is noticeably absent. It is not at the lumber mill.
Yeah.
It wasn't at the house either.
It wasn't at the house. Oh,
Well,
sweet
sweetie.
Jesus.
I mean, I can tell you right now, the package not here. Let me
I don't
check
know
in
what
and
to
see
do
if
now.
Wayne and Arthur are here. Hold on, I'll be right back. So, so Buddy's gonna walk in and kind of go right to the foreman's office, which is like right next to where all the lumber's happening. It's like a pop-up.
Yep.
Frickin' thing. So he goes, walks in. Hey, Bill, you there?
Yeah, come in.
Bill, how you doing? Listen, did Wayne come in today?
No, Wayne, and come to think of it, neither did you. What are you doing?
You got a good point there, Bill. Listen, I got something awful going on with my stomach right now. It's just, it's really, man, spent the whole night on the pot. I mean, it's coming out.
All right. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, buddy. I don't want to hear it.
Can you roll something on that? Can you roll a
You roll a gross
Bullshit.
the fuck
Can I
out
roll a
check?
bullshit roll?
I guess that would probably be an interpersonal check. Probably a what is it? Persuade, charm, intimidate, or the other one.
fast talk?
Yeah, fast talk. It'd probably be fast talk.
All right, let me see if I can do a fast talk.
Yeah. Take an advantage die actually. So roll the 10s die twice and take the better.
All right. That is a 43 under 45.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, I should actually clarify. It's a bonus die in Call of Cthulhu, not an advantage die. But yeah, so what do we name him? Bill? Let's write an NPC together. Bill says,
let's do it.
I don't need to hear any of that. All right, I get it. Do Wayne and Arnold have the same thing?
Yeah. Oh, it's awful, man. I tell you, we sit down for one meal together, and the next thing you know, we're running in and out of the bathroom. I'm getting him in there, and then
I already told you. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. For Christ's sake. For Christ's sake, buddy, I don't want to hear it. All right, look. Wayne had his chance. He's already fired. You and Arnold, now that I know, just get yourselves together, all right? Get out of here. I don't want to get whatever's going around.
All right. Hey, one last question. Arthur here? He
No.
Up, yeah?
Oh, wait. Is he? I forget. Let me ask God. Yeah. Arthur's here. Arthur's here.
Flu going around.
All right. Tell him I was asking about him, and I'll see you tomorrow, okay? I'll be in tomorrow. I just got to get the rest of this out of my system.
Don't you dare start talking about it anymore. Get the hell out of my office.
All right, Bill. I'll talk to you tomorrow. He just kind of walks in.
Bill enters rage.
Bill and Kaz are very noticeably...
What did you say about my wife?
It's a crossover episode!
Oh no!
The buddy walks out of the foreman's office and he starts heading toward the roadster and and he just kind of like does that thing where he kind of moves his hat back and he pulls a neckerchief out and he's like kind of wiping his forehead and he's like,
Hey, everything come out clean in there, buddy?
From the distance you hear,
For Christ's sake! If you don't get out of here, I'm calling the cops!
Hey ho! Tip your waitress. Try the veal. So I walk right up to Dicky and I go, neither of them are here. Arnold's not here. Wayne never showed up for work. Wayne's fired. I mean, Arthur's here today. He was with us last night, but seems everybody who's wacky is disappearing.
There's something rotten here in town, and I think the smell is coming from that farm. Unless there's anything else we want to do. I don't know. We talked about maybe talking to the Reverend, but otherwise, I think we wait for nightfall and head over there.
If we've got time to kill, we could go over there. But yes, I think let's go to the barn as soon as possible. Is that safe?
Safe.
Well,
Sweetie, don't worry about it.
That's why
And Buddy just kind of peels his coat back and shows his .38 revolver on his hip. If anybody tries to mess with us, we'll take care of it. And your friend Dicky here, he knows what he's doing.
That being said, I mean, safe or not, it seems to have fallen on our shoulders to uncover this mystery, and so I'm planning on seeing it through one way or the other.
Got my fist, Dicky.
I know you do.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to get on the opposite side of that fist there, Betty.
So we're agreed? Wait for nightfall, head to the farm.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Okay.
All right.
Do we want to
let's
stop
do it.
and check on the Reverend real quick?
I'll tell you what.
Well, it seems It's like he's already a little bit far gone. I mean, maybe we could learn something, but it might be even more. I mean, seems like the more of these folks that are feeling loopy we talk to, the worse things seem to get.
Well, sweetie, you know the Reverend pretty well, yeah?
Oh yes. Well, I'm nothing special, but I'm there every Sunday.
Well, how about this? How about me and Sweetie head over to the Reverend? I'll make sure that nothing goes wrong. And Benny and Dicky, you guys can work out the best way for us to get into that barn, yeah?
Yeah, all right, sure. All right, team.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. Let's see. Where to first? Let's follow the barn first. Yeah. So who's going to the barn again? Remind me. It's a.
Well,
you're all going together.
I think we're all gonna wait to go to the barn together. Yeah.
Got it.
Are we waiting until nightfall to do the
Well, maybe
mission?
like twilight at least. I just, you know what I mean.
All right.
It just
Sure.
to sneak.
So just swing by the church.
Yeah.
It's not
We'll
that
swing
far
by the
away.
church, see what we can figure out, and then we'll meet back up.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so in that case, I'll assume that that Dicky and Benny are just going about their business throughout the day, and yeah, let's follow Buddy and Sweetie towards the church. I imagine
Are we all bebopping
it kind of seems that way. I mean, I imagine Buddy probably has his own car. I don't know if it doesn't. It honestly, it doesn't really matter. However you want to get there, you can. If you want to go pick up your car, it's fine.
Get in, loser.
There you
We're
go.
fighting an elder god.
All right.
Amazing.
Actually, I guess if we're all going to the farm together, so
Okay,
we could
off to the church, all of you.
All right.
It's fine. Just to be safe.
Don't split the party.
Haven't
Not
we
again.
learned yet?
Don't split the party.
No.
No, apparently not. Spoiler alert.
But do split the party.
It's kind of-
TV.
It's kind of hard not
All
to
right,
in
to the
Call of
church.
Cthulhu. Like Dungeons and Dragons, you make like an adventuring party. Call of Cthulhu, like you're regular people going about your lives. It kind of makes sense that you would.
Yeah.
You mean you don't want to hop in my Ford Model A Roadster with just the basic trim?
Oh, he's got the Model A. I thought the Model A didn't come out till next year.
Oh.
Nah, I'm messing with you.
Oh.
You can have a Model A if you want.
I'm trying.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, you make your way to the church. It's like everything else, except for a few exceptions, not far from the center of town. And yes, this is the I forget the name of it. Did I name it? I may not have. Saint. I
it's
probably
not.
did name it
I know.
actually. Yeah. Saint something.
It's Saint something.
Saint Squidface.
Saint Packard.
Saint Packard. Saint Packard Bell. Sponsored by Packard Bell. Roman Catholic Church. It's Saint So-and-so's Roman Catholic Church. It's kind of near the center of town.
Saint Sebastian's Roman Catholic.
Is that it?
Is it?
Yep.
I don't believe you.
There's many. I don't know if it's the one
So
that
we
you
go
made.
to the church.
The church.
We're
There
there.
you are. Welcome to this church, Saint Philomena's. It's big. It's older than most of the buildings in town, and it is a hub in the community. It's Wednesday afternoon, let's say. It's probably afternoon by now. So, I don't know. Catholics in the chat sound off. Is there mass on Wednesday afternoon? There might be, but it's probably not nearly as well attended as a Sunday
Not
one.
that I know of, but sometimes there's a gathering. Sometimes there's a meeting.
Sometimes,
or something
yeah.
on
So
Wednesday night.
there's. Oh, Tory Birdie says yes. So we're gonna go with yes. So there is a. There are a few cars there, a few, not many. Nowhere near as populated as the Sunday Mass, but yeah, a few people are in there for the afternoon service. Let's say it just let out.
All right. Can I? Okay, so then I assume doors are open and people are starting to
Correct.
leave with bulletins and stuff. Can I see Father? Reverend Fitzgerald. Oh, is he Father? Father Fitzgerald?
I imagine he would be, yeah, Father Fitzgerald.
Father.
I think I've been calling him Reverend Fitzgerald.
can
I
I
haven't
see
been to
the
church in a long
father?
time, if that wasn't obvious.
Father Fitzgerald. He's an Irish Catholic.
So,
Father Fitzgerald. Is he seeing people out at the front
he's not,
doors?
in fact.
All right.
Uh-oh.
I'll
As the two resident Catholics were both like, pastor's not at the door. There's a problem.
yes, Dicky, are you a churchgoer?
Well, yeah, sure, twice a week at least.
All right. This looks strange, no? Usually he's shaking hands and giving hugs on the way out.
Pardon me. Can I just stop somebody? Is there?
Sure. Yeah. You stop. Let's say
Barbara Walters.
You know what? Yeah. You stop.
Walter
Barbera.
Yeah.
Barbera.
You see Mr. Walter Barbera. He's retired. He's getting along in his years, and he used to work. He used to work at the barber shop. He works at he was a barber, but he's retired now.
Mr. Barbera was a barber, huh?
Maybe that's why he became a barber.
Well, the name like this, it sells itself.
Pardon me. Mr. Barbera, I know we haven't spoken before. I don't pop up much at church. But tell me, where's the father? Did he read mass this evening?
He's kind of an older guy, sort of shuffling out, and you tap him on the shoulder. He looks at you and goes, "Oh! Good afternoon. You must be you must be that Harrow fella." Right. Yeah, work down at the.
And I kind of self-consciously scratch
work
at the
down
edge
at the
of
theater,
my
don't you? Actually, you know what? Just for fun, why don't you roll against your appearance?
Oh!
Yeah, that's not good.
Where's the father?
No, it was close. It was close. It was. I got a 30.
I was just
over
like,
20.
if you had like dramatically failed, I would have said he might be like a little extra standoffish. But no, I think that's close enough. So I apologize, son. I don't mean to offend.
No. I mean, believe me, it's startling. I give myself a spook every morning in the mirror. Anyway.
That's pretty grim there, son. I'm sure.
But we're not here to talk about me. I don't want to take up any more of your time. I just did the father give the sermon this evening? He's usually out here, shaking hands.
Oh, yes. He did. Just regular service. I think he's just speaking to a few people who wanted to stay behind, get a little counsel.
I would love some counsel.
Just inside. Last I saw, he was just coming down from the pulpit.
Thank you. And again, thank you for your time.
No worries.
Take care.
I'm retired. I got nowhere to be. You want to come play checkers?
Oh my god.
I would be more than happy to take you up on that another.
You sure? I got a great collection of fine teas at my house.
That sounds really lovely, but we're on a bit of a business venture, shall we say, at the moment. But thank you. That's very kind. I don't get invited to a lot of things. That's
well,
nice.
All right. What about this strong-looking fella? I got a couple boxes you could move. He's pointing towards Benny.
I'll be there when I can, friend.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Bye. And he just shuffles off.
You take care of yourself, Mr. Barbera. Great guy. Love it.
Bump, ba, ba, bump, ba, ba, bump. Okay.
Yeah, let's hustle inside. And is he just inside up near the?
Yeah.
Near the dogs we're talking
So the
about?
four of you make your way in, and you see near the front, there is Father Fitzgerald. He's standing just in front of the front row of pews. A few people are sitting there. It seems as though they're waiting to talk to him, but right now his attention is focused on one particular gentleman who is leaning over, sobbing heavily. And it takes but a fraction of a second, sweetie, for you to recognize Howard. And we'll see you next week.
No!
Oh no!
Oh, you killed me!
We're all gonna die!
My word! Oh my god. Few things make me happier than looking at the chat right after I've dropped a cliffhanger. It's like my favorite thing in the world.
Bruh! Oh, come on!
Oh my god. I love you guys so much. You guys are such great role players. This is the part of the adventure where I really get to the investigation, I should say, where I really just get to sit back and let you guys just take the reins, and boy, oh boy, do you take them. Gaggle, thank you all so much for coming to watch episode 4 of Madness and Mercy. I want to give a huge thank you to my investigators, Trevor, Campbell, Ned, Tyler, and another congratulations to Dan, who is probably sitting down at the Manhattan Theater Club right now watching the opening of Skeleton Crew. We're all incredibly proud of him.
Yes.
So before we sign off for the evening, don't forget STRAHDCAST, episode 13, I think, right? We're already up to episode 14. Drops on Sunday at noon. There's a live listen at noon on YouTube. Please come join us and hang out with us. And also that we will be right back here on Twitch this coming Wednesday at 6 p.m. for episode 5 of this investigation. Don't forget to check out C4 Labs, our sponsor for the evening, and if you do decide to partake in any of their fine wares, to use our discount code GOON15 for 15% off your entire order. I personally cannot wait to get the stuff that they are sending us. I have been sitting by my phone waiting for the text from Ned saying that it's coming in.
Yes. We'll have some cool stuff to show you all next week.
We certainly will. We certainly will. We certainly will. Yes.
And if you are a new member here and watching us for the first time, check in the chat, check out our Patreon, and join our Discord. You can hang out with us every day of the week.
That's right.
If you want.
That's right. We love you guys so much. So we spend a lot of time in the Discord just chit-chatting with you. If you are unable to support the Patreon and support us directly, that's totally fine. We're on YouTube. We're on TikTok. We're here on Twitch. There are plenty of ways to enjoy our company and for us to enjoy your company at no cost to you. So we'll see you next week, Gaggle. And before that, we'll see you on Sunday. I don't think I have anything else to say. We love you.
Thanks for being here,
Kate.
friends.
Bye-bye.
Well done.
Thank you all.
Always a pleasure.
Good night, Gaggle. Take your night with advantage. Thank you very much.
Good night, Goon.